You guys are doing all right, huh? Okay, so Adam's got a new scene. We're just opening up for anyone tuning in right now. We're just opening up your guys' critiques. You can go to the Discord here, and there is a channel called, or a thread, I should say, in the critiques channel called Stream Critiques. You can post your work there. Praven, I see you've got 2 posts, so don't you stress. I got you. I'm just gonna open a few of these. Does it have to be images, or can I send links to ArtStation? It could be a link to ArtStation. Nerbios, no, Nerbiozo. Hello, I think I said that right. How's it going? Hello, hello. Okay, let's start this, shall we? Let me get some different tunes for me. You guys find some music to enjoy as we get through these critiques, and yeah, see you on the other side in like 2 hours. Okay, so it begins. We've got a blog post. I'm gonna just copy this. We'll post it in chat here from Adam, or as we know as Bronze Gear. This is pretty cool, documenting your workflow and whatnot. I'm just gonna scroll through here and just take a look at some of the pieces that are happening in here. It's looking good. Some nice sculpts. It looks like a lot of your primary shapes are already kind of solved before you kind of chipped away at it a bit. This is nice and clean because, quarries and our blocks, they're, I don't know what you would call them, quarryists. The people chopping cutting up the blocks of from the quarry. So the only thing I would say, and it kind of makes quarries a little boring, is like the positioning. I guess the scaffolding, maybe you haven't built the scene yet. Maybe this is the start of the scene. Finding that camera angle. I haven't read through any of the text, of course, so I have no idea. The miners, thank you. Big 28K. Dude, I remember 28.8K. Oof. The speed. The Minecraft players. So just keep in mind how scaffolding is positioned, and I would do a decent amount of research on like how this all happens. Figuring out like, okay, how does a quarry work? How is that processed? I think that should give you a lot to go off of for how you position propping and all of that. But overall, it's looking pretty cool. I don't know if these are decals or if this is baked in there. It looks like it's a combination of. Those look baked. Those do look baked. Or no. I mean, maybe they're not. For all of you good, all my good deeds. Is it Durskilton? Thanks, man. Baked. Yo. Spicy. You're in Unreal 5 now. What about that nanite? Anyways, it's looking cool. It's a little early to tell, but I think you've got your macro shapes. You've got your micro, like medium, large shapes. I think working on like what you want for your composition is going to be the next thing, the next hotness, if you will. Praven, this looks pretty cool. Not gonna lie, this looks pretty cool. I think the close up here is really interesting. But like let's go back to this real quick and just kind of look at how this is being put together. So the ceiling, I can see that there's maybe some reuse of pieces. Get one more piece that you can, like a single one or like 2 or 3 like tinier pieces of wood, and you should be able to use those near these, and that would give you enough breakup to not see like the repetition, because you can see, you start to feel like, oh, is this one reused over this one and this one? You know what I mean? You're like, oh, it's kind of, they're kind of similar, but yeah, this is pretty cool. And I like the logic behind like how you're dealing with the ceiling. Now, when all these pieces fall, for sure they're going to be scattered down here, right? So pay attention to like. Oh yeah, you've been here, Shokri. Pay attention to where they should land and what happens over time. Because like right now, I see you got a little bit here, and you need to turn it up by like I don't know 1,000%, which is the amount of pieces. I guess it really depends on how long it's all been like that as well. You'd want some hanging from wires too. I mean, are they suspend? They're not suspended by wires though, are they? They're supposed to be like attached to the lattice that's above it. And we got a real life reference here. Let me give me a second. We can look at this other angle while I'm pulling this up. Oh wow. Okay, I see. Yeah. So wow, that's really interesting. That's been like that for a while. That's it's been a while. So if you see how green it is as well, and it may be kind of pushed up a bit by post, I think you're getting a majority of the image, and it is really about that those hanging bits as well as like everything that you can pile on top of the one of the benefits I think of this shape here, like when you look at this table for a little bit here, it's straight, right, and then it's straight over here as well. You could probably build a piece that looks like this and this one combined, like two, like it's like a kit almost, like maybe two pieces, and then you can use those in combination and kind of place them along the edges to get that look. But there's going to be a lot of foliage and like little micro details when it comes to like how much you're pushing the green, the aging on the wood, these like hanging bits. Definitely getting these hanging bits moving around is going to be I think crucial in feeling like you're there. And yeah, I the only other thing I would say is because of the way this space is, like there's a lot of like glass, like window access to natural light, right? Visuals totally spot on. What's up, Vince? How you doing? Visuals totally spot on when you look at these open windows that like the camera angle is gonna play a huge part in the really feeling the scale. Getting an angle kind of low to the ground could be beneficial. And I think if this is in Unreal 5, Praven, I would definitely push towards doing like a slow like time lapse where the sun slow time lapse. You know what I mean? A time lapse that's not like super fast. Just so you can get some light coming in here and naturally the GI just kind of the ray tracing or the lumen just kicks in and kind of starts pushing the colors around for you. But I think a lot of your work, I would find the camera angles that you really want to push and focus on those, and this will be a much easier piece to close. But yes, let's move on to Bray. I think it's Bray is next. Yes, Bray. This looks pretty cool, man. I remember this scene now. Some updates to an environment, messing with the sweet lumen. It's pretty lumen's pretty sick, man. It's pretty sick. So with this layout, I think it's going to be pretty imperative that from a logic standpoint, you understand how the space is supposed to be navigated and where there's areas where you're not supposed to go. Like maybe there should be like you've got the hazard lines here, but it still looks like you can go over here. Like there's quite a bit of room. Understanding the logic of the space is probably the number one thing you should focus on. Since compositionally this looks quite strong, I'm having a hard time reading the space, like the logics of it. Hopefully that makes sense. Maybe these lights need to be lower. Um, and I think these cables, you've got some fat cables that are just kind of like coming down. Take the elements that you're pushing and just turn all of those elements up to the volume that you have these beams going at. Like we've got crazy particle control now with like these really sick like vortex style like high particle density effects. Have that beam be super clean, and every once in a while just something off like spits out a bunch of little ones and they just kind of flow into the chamber or out the other way. Maybe they're kind of radiating out and then this is like a suction and pulls them in. So you have all of those. The cables right now feel like they're low in the volume. Like I was talking about, you turn it up to 11. Just thinking like crazy cable setups where there's like, I don't know, 100 cables, 50 cables, just yeah, the Niagara effects would be really sick. And like this warning strip is very strange that an access terminal would be like right on the warning strip. So just again, like I was saying, thinking about the logics, maybe numbering these. Hey, Bronze, have a good one, man. But yeah, man, Bronze got that critique, and he's out. He's just like, all right, I got stuff I got to do. Cheers, man. But yeah, it looks like there's a console here. Busy person. Yeah, yeah. I think I see a person there. I'm not sure what that is that we just zoomed in on. But making this feel like a command might be good as well. Like a central command. Maybe you have one that's facing this one and one that's facing this one. So this one here could be looking for here, and then this one could be facing that direction. That way you see all the screens and stuff. Oh yeah, you're basing it off of concepts? Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's just figuring out how to like to push. What's up, a baby? It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Let's see what else we got here. We got Tundra. I mean, oops, I just minimized everything. Hang on here. Maybe I can just bring this over. What are we looking at here? That's pretty cool. Man, it's so like simple as well. And then look at that, bro. Hey Bray, thanks for posting your stuff, man. Yeah, this is pretty cool. I would say the saturation's probably kicking into the levels of like is this the intro for the next World of Warcraft trailer? Like the colors are just a tad heavy on the saturation. This one feels like the intro to Lion King is coming. Ben, what's up, man? I don't have too much to say on it. I think compositionally it could be beneficial to just let the sun happen without a cloud being in the way, or thin the cloud out so it just has a little bit of a haze, but you still see the entire sun. Um, with the sun this low, I think you would expect the clouds to. I mean, these are volumetric, so my assumptions these are volumetric clouds, so they should be responding to the sun correctly. So maybe this is what they're supposed to look like. That's pretty sick though. Compositionally, like this one here, is pretty good. One thing I would note is the mountain horizon here is very uniform and it's pretty level with the rocks. I would see what you could do about raising it in one side and lowering it in another, just to get some like distance composition building going on. Because the focus is here, but everything is so level that it's almost like this is the edge of a cliff, and we're not getting a sense of like how high up you are or how how vast the environment is around you. I think that's probably all I would add on that. Man, it's crazy how this is the same angle. It's so different feeling. Yeah, this would look really sick on an ultra wide for sure. You need it for your computer background? All right, Alexandra wants to know if the lighting is good and what else we can do to improve this. Thanks in advance. So the lighting actually feels a bit flat. But I guess that's kind of the my boy. I'll be your boy. It's cool. Adrian, I am your child now. Um Alexandra, do you have the reference to this concept? I'm just gonna Google real quick and see if I can find. I just typed in Simon Mech, and man, the amount of mechs this guy has doodled. I can't find the concept. Anyways, um, yeah, I'm not seeing it. Dang. Oh, you're typing in here. I see it. I see you typing. There it is. Nice. So it is pretty muted. It's pretty flat. Let's grab this. We're gonna Photoshop here. And we can go all the way back up here. Oh, there we go. So one thing you can do is just look at the temperature. Like let's just mask half of this. So we just look at the temperature of like what's going on with your piece versus the other scene. There's some. It looks like you may have the brightness correct. Stalinhag. Stalinhag. I'm saying it wrong completely. Here. There you go. Anyways, you can see that your scene's quite a bit warm by comparison. If there's anything that Simon's capturing, it's that kind of cold blue tone to everything. So you could probably just take your scene and in post kind of have like an adjustment to kind of cool it off. Let me see what happens here if we. I think I'd just go to filters and just do a camera raw on the piece on your side, and then just like, let's see it. We can see it here, and just take like the. Wait, what? I'm just doing it to the. Hang on here. Hang on. I'm doing it to the mask. Control Shift A, huh? I'll remember that. So taking that temperature and trying to move it around. I guess I should bring it. Dang, you can't even. You don't see it live here. That's kind of meh. Is there a live? There's no live button. Just gonna do this. So like when you take the temperature and you just turn it down, you can see how much bluer it is. And it's already starting to get close to those tones. The other thing I would note is the brightness of your sand. I think that your albedo is probably too dark, and that's why you're not able to get this kind of lighter sand. You can really see the value difference when I bring it over. But yeah, and I think maybe the rings could be a little thinner. I do like the attention to detail when it comes to the rings. I don't know if these are like spider webs that are happening here, but you'll notice that like the spider webs aren't too noticeable when you look at the reference, and it's more overgrown with the foliage, as well as like these little hangy bits that are kind of going throughout. Also, remember the thickness of these cables, these tubes. Really capture like every single tube in your piece, and you'll be in a much stronger position. Like you can see that like just the tube count that you have, they're all very similar in size. And I think if we look at this one, these ones are similar. There looks like there's some smaller ones. And then these rings are much less emphasized by comparison of yours. Like think in a cylindrical fashion as well. I think right now you have these kind of like on a plane, and they need to maybe wrap more around and under. I don't know. This one's pretty not visible. They also look like they're really kind of relaxing. They're kind of squishing down like a flat bike tire. The Unreal Lighting Academy does some Stalinhag lighting sessions for the first video. Helps knock in that blue faded feel. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Interesting. Making up words tonight. I think it's looking pretty promising though. It needs that some of the balancing that we're talking about. The other thing too is with the alpha on your leaves, make sure to have a lot of space inside of the alpha. That'll really help like separate out the leaf shapes as they mip down. The alpha shrinks, right? It's like basically if you have a texture that's 1024, when it mips, it like quarters itself in resolution, if I remember correctly. So it'll go from a 1024 to a 512. And if you watch what happens to alphas as they mip down, if they've mipped down like 2 or 3 times, the little like thin areas in the alpha just melt together. So you'll lose like little spacing between your leaves. There's something to keep in mind. Nick, let's go, man. Trying to add the tiger image as some sort of holographic decal of sorts. Oh man, that's cool. Yeah, Nick, I always forget that you're zero in chat. Uh, Blaze, yeah, sorry, I didn't see your message. Yeah, it's for anyone. Yeah, it's for anyone. Man, this is super cool. There is a pack of characters I think on the Epic store. Think it'd be pretty cool to have a character standing in the doorway, like like prepping to open the door. You know, like oh man, I gotta open this door. Am I ready to deal? Am I ready to deal with my angry father or something? You know, that kind of that kind of energy. It makes it sound like I had a rough childhood. My childhood was awesome. I was super happy. Um, but having a character standing in the doorway like that allows for you to do this holographic decal of sorts. It could be projected, so it's like projected on the back of the character. I think that would look super cool. Other than that, I think looking at the shapes that you're adding to the wall, you're adding a lot of details that we want to look at. Just think about what you want the focus to be. Like maybe these should be a little bit further out, like closer to the camera in space. That way you open this up even further, and you localize all of the piping to like a specific area, just for the logic of like how the space is set up. And also, whenever you connect things, you can talk to us, Din. Man. Um, whenever you think about, or whenever you have props like meeting a wall, getting the little drips and stuff, or like just things that let you understand that surfaces are contacting other surfaces, and over time they actually are affecting each other. Those are really important. But yeah, definitely look at some reference for piping just to see how they integrate into buildings, where they tend to flow to. Like usually, if this goes down, but it needs to connect somewhere over here, it'll go down and then like over the doorway and then down. Um, yeah, just look at some compositions of actual piping, and I think that'll help a ton. Palm sweaty, mom spaghetti, swatty man, palm swatty. I think I'm gonna put that on a shirt. Oh my god, dude! Now you know I am tired. Now you know. A 50 cal hammer. What? Just gonna click this, bro. Oh, I have a message. Mom's Bugatti. Mom's Bugatti. This is this is interesting. So this cable twist thing in the middle, I would lean into that. Allow the twist to give you some change in shape. And it might not be just because of the amount of like cables there are. But yeah, don't be shy to add some geo to get that kind of rounding in there. It's a really interesting. It's so it's kind of weird that these lines go evenly across every piece. I guess you would expect those lines to be on every cable, and in that case, they would kind of be misaligned a little bit. The material here feels pretty good, and there's a nice little like touch of detail around the sides here. There's a lot of information going on, but at the same time, it's pretty cool. Man, what a weapon idea. Usually, a hammer is weighted pretty heavy on one side, just so that like when you swing down, it it helps you carry the momentum. Oh, I see the cabling now. So I think the thing that's probably the weakest right now is just the materials. Uh, it really shines here. This material here is looking really good. It looks pretty good here as well. I think it's just this area feels like there's just not a lot of breakup or material differences to try and ground everything together. They all feel like relatively clean materials. The screws feel like they're the same. They feel stamped on versus like in the metal. Um, when you hit that hammer down, I assume it fires the round. See, so it'd be really interesting to see like some type of backing that helps like with like a either a back blast or a forward blast. That albedo values for the ammo shell might be a little dark as well. Yeah, I agree with that, Eric. Pretty cool though. Pretty interesting. Christian, an update to the portfolio review scene you did for me a long time ago. Still work in progress. The second shot is going to have a dress on a mannequin. The papers will be fashion sketches, and the wood is trying its best. What? It's trying to stay together, man. Man, I remember this scene. This is looking pretty great, man. Hey, Revenant, no problem. Thanks for posting your work. If a 50 cal didn't destroy you enough, here's a hammer. You can get up in personal. That includes a 50 cal. Is that Lumen? Polysocks, what are you linking there? What's that? Oh, the old version. Oh, let's go. Oh, man. That glow up. That glow up, though. So, just look right here. And notice the materials are quite, it feels a bit stylized. This is already looking real nice. This is looking great. A revamp after 4 years. Nice. Dude, not everyone can like revisit stuff, you know what I mean? I think you could benefit from the glass not being as dirty, just to really like feel the space and the reflection. I mean, you could diffuse it enough and then just put a character in the back that you only see in the reflection. That would be kind of creepy. I would, yeah, I like that. So this looks great. This is already a huge step forward. These papers on the wall, these are cool. Make sure that they're different, of course, and then make sure that there's papers on the ground, because this looks like his place was abandoned a while ago, right? Yeah, the ivy looks really good, and I think the other thing you should think about is what happens with rain. Let's say it rains through this opening for the next like 5 years. What are we seeing? We're seeing water damage. We're seeing like wood that's become wet and then dried out and then became wet again and dried out, and raised corners on the papers for sure. Yeah, you want that paper to feel quite curled. The moisture in here is probably quite high. Overall, the scene is quite strong, though. It's just really like pushing those interactions. Hey, thank you for the prime, dude. Yeah, so curling corners of paper, all that jazz. Whenever you have wires and cables and stuff, make sure it always terminates into something. And when it goes up and changes direction, that it looks naturally pinned. Oh, no problem, dude. But yeah, this is looking cool. This is looking really good. You've got like the macro detail and the micro detail. And I feel like in these areas, you're missing that little bit of micro detail. Trying to think what else you could do to... The sunlight feels really nice coming through the openings there. I'd be curious what happens when the sun starts to hit the mirror. But I think seeing this ambiently, like just sitting here and a soft breeze coming through, you see the light kind of swaying a little bit. Just these motions, just the little bit of movement, and like finding an ambient sound that you can just put there that sounds really abandoned. It just sounds abandoned. I think if you could capture that, ooh, that'd be turning it up. You know what I mean? It turns it up to 11. Those types of details. Really, really nice though, man. Really nice stuff. This is a huge... You'll put blockbuster noises in? Nice. I'm curious about this dress too you're talking about. Is it going to be on this one? Or on the one in the very back? Yeah, it'll be on this one. So this one feels like it's competing for center of attention. I know once the dress is there, it'll be all right. I would just maybe even tip this one over, or add a couple of them back there just so they're kind of like, you know, they're just kind of chilling. And this is so open. I feel like you can use the foliage further throughout this side of the scene, just because like it'll give you that separation in the space overall that you could use. They give you a nice like oh, we're looking down this way now. How I know that is because this is where the sun is. This is where all the ceiling is kind of opened up and the foliage is growing inward. But this alone, you could post this by itself and that would be enough. I think maybe one coat hung up on there would be pretty cool, but yeah. Put some bird nest somewhere. Bird poop, man. Wherever you can find a place for bird poop, go for it. You got to get back to this. I don't know what material I should do for the window walls. Window walls. Here, let's take a look. Yes. Yeah, so Joy, this scene was coming along pretty nicely. I know you got busy with some other stuff. We still have a few calls as well, so whenever you feel ready. The windows here feel pretty good. Little bit of water on there. Definitely try to, like, when we, let's see if we open this up here. When you look here, like, these areas are feeling pretty good. I think you still need to turn up the poly count on your chairs. Like, you can see the edges, right? And you can see where the textures aren't being supported by the geometry that's there. And there's some hard edges as well, which you wouldn't see, I think, normally. The floor feels a little flat. These guys need some work, but I know this is just a block out for now. I don't think AO on the floor would help. I think actually the crevices between the wood pieces is too wide right now, so they really like draw your attention. It should probably feel more like a layer of the wood material, right? That's the floor that's quite reflective. Maybe with the how this is meeting how the games are meeting the game console, I guess I should say, is meeting the floor. A decal of scratches would be pretty cool, just to see some like scratching. The plants in the back here feel a little off in scale. Anything that's, whenever you need a break, but you still want to work on stuff, focus on that low hanging fruit, which is like these hard edges here. You could just bevel this one, add a few more edges, and then it would be good and it wouldn't distract you as much, right? The glass up here, we need to figure out how to get this to light in a way that feels natural. You probably want it to feel like you know where the light sources are, because I don't think this is actually exposed to the sky. I think this is more of an inside like facade, and there's actually lights placed behind it. The lights would be diffused across the glass, but I think you would still clearly see where the lights are because of the way the light gradients outwards from the source. And yeah, it's really about like you execute these so well that I think we just need to focus on the things that you haven't focused on yet, if that makes sense. It's just a matter of going down the list, right? Prioritize what you think is like going to hit the hardest, and you just kind of keep pushing on that. With these, it looks like you've kind of done the gradient thing I was suggesting, and I think you're seeing a little bit more of the oh no, it's just an illusion to my eyes. What is happening? Like making it feel like there's something behind it. Add shadows, definitely. You know, it's really it's interesting. A lot of the times you're like, oh, people are like, oh, do parallax in the windows and you can see inside. That parallaxing can be anything. It can be whatever you want it to be. Because like you could literally take this wall piece and like the glass here, and instead of parallaxing an interior, parallax a blurry version of like trees, so that you can see like large shadowed objects that are kind of just occluding the light a little bit. And those shadows are basically just a parallaxed inset of a blurry tree that's changing the emissive value. That would do a ton. If it felt like there were bushes on the other side of the glass, that would do a lot as well. Any thoughts on an idea and ideas for the wall materials? So these ones here, or the really like saturated stuff. I mean, it's difficult because like I know this is being pulled from a reference, and there's like you're designing as well. So really like being careful with saturation and patterns. I think the best thing to do when you have a wall that's flat color is in a normal map try and simulate the seams and like imperfections of like wallpaper or the fact that it's like a painted surface. Those are going to do a whole lot for you. Yeah, and you're saying shadows on the floor, definitely. Getting some like contact shadows. I think these rays of light, I wouldn't try and force that for now because all it's doing is kind of distracting you from what you're trying to look at, which is the scene. Consult some subway train cars for ideas. I just haven't figured out the walls for the circular walls. Oh, these ones. I mean, I would play with value first. See if they look better on a with a lighter wall or a darker wall. Cuz then you're thinking interior design, right? And then from there, what color do you introduce? When you're designing a space, think about the 60-30-10 rule. Um you could go with like what's 60% of the overall color and then 30% of like an accent color and then the area that you want action of the user is that 10%. It's more of like a user UX rule set. You can apply that with like, oh, I want you to sit here. So this is warm wood. This is warm wood because it pulls you up, right? Make this warm wood is very similar to this. And then the overall color of the space should sit somewhere around away from this warm wood, but not pulling you away from the action point. Usually you want that 60% to be a neutral color, which is why I would say the walls right now are too saturated and likely too dark. A stucco wall could be cool. Anything that will help you like visualize how this is mounted, how the rounded window is mounted to the wall. But I think right now what you're doing is you're sticking to the colors that you've originally placed there, when you could just fully explore like value and different colors to go with. Just try some stuff and see how it feels. The other thing you could do is you could go to like color. Where is that at? I think it's called color. Color dot Adobe, is that it? Let me see here. Because you can, if you go to color dot Adobe, you can like figure out analogous colors, and there's all these different ones you can play with, and they just kind of like they try and stick inside of the. Oh man, I'm probably breaking this with this thing on here. There we go. And you can save these color samples as well. But split complementary. It shows like where those sit. Yeah, the water on the glass is super cool. It feels a little squished right now, and it'd be really interesting to see it animated where you see it dripping down. Like the scale is just a little strange. But yeah, it's so interesting because your individual assets look quite good. So I think it's just a matter of figuring out how to ground everything. And don't be afraid to go really broad on like color and value shifts on your wall just to try and figure out what you're looking for. I think the wood on the ceiling is for the scaffolding up here is just too dark. And just yeah, push all those little details we were talking about. It's looking really nice though, and I know that you've been super busy, so now you're able to get back to it. I'm texturing this turtle in my free time. How do you feel it looks? Any ideas on how to tackle it? I did a generator base, and now I'm doing a lot of hand painting. A generator base is actually a pretty good idea. Um, I'd get those glossy eyes in there, those beautiful glossy eyes that turtles have. Let's see here. This is just a sea turtle, right? So a lot of images, people boost the colors and stuff. So you got to be a little careful when you're looking at the color of them. Let me see if I can open this in a new tab. Yeah, this one's a little boosted, but it looks okay. Let me see if we can bring this over here. Look at this guy. So happy. I mean, it might be a matter of just getting that contrast in there. Again, I think that might be going a little away from the. Let me see if I can select the. Nice. Thanks, Photoshop. Um. Yeah, I wonder. Hmm. You don't want it to be too dark either, right? It's swimming. How did he do that? It's magic. They're with their friends now. What you don't know is in this photo, this turtle's actually running, swimming for its life. These fish are out to get it. Um, yeah, I mean, I think when you change the temperature as well, I think it's looking good. It really needs that detail, the finer. You see, there's a lot of like these micro crevices that are quite dark. I think really leaning into those folds and kind of getting like a deep dark line. What I would actually suggest doing is blind turtle. No, don't look at me. Um, is get like a curvature pass where you get really dark, like clean lines inside of all of these, and just do a whole pass on it with that type of detail, and then just kind of fade it out with a mask, because you can see it. It's pretty heavy here, and then under here it chills out. So there's those combinations of like when to add the detail and when to remove it. The other thing you could do is you can see where these areas kind of bubble up. You can probably do some inflate in Substance Painter in a normal map or height map to kind of push those details further. But I think it's looking pretty cool. It just I'd find the use a curvature map with levels and set it to like overlay or something. Yeah. I mean, I wonder if you can. Oh my God, they're multiplying. Uh, filter. You basically just want those finer details to pop. Um, let's do like a screen. No, an overlay. But you only want it to pop in certain areas, right? So just as a like a fakery. You can have them pop in certain spots, and then they soften up quite a bit elsewhere. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, you can see there's like quite a bit of contrast on these higher points. And then you get that nice glossy eye in there. Oh man. Fall in love with that stuff, man. Oh. Looking really cool though. I think it needs those crisp edges in areas. Oh no. Okay, we're good. We're good. No, I think the approach that you have right now is good. It's just think about the range and do some levels every once in a while and like look at those finer crevice details. I think you can actually do all this color work after you've gotten like the little fine like crevices and like the harsh edges in. And you can think about bringing these colors in and then using a like go full on with like bringing all these I don't even know what you would call it. I'm gonna call them tiles. I'm calling them tiles. You bring in and color all the tiles, then you can go in with a mask and gradient them away because a lot of this stuff is gradients. A lot of it is gradients. Man, this looks cool. Anyways, it's looking cool, and I think you're on to the right approach. It's just a matter of like continuing to push on it. It's pretty nice. And think about the roughness differences of the certain areas. Like if you could like turtle shell, turtle shell up close. Can I get an up close photo? Let's go. Um, Come on, give me the image. Oh, that's not gonna help me. Anyways, it grows in layers, right? The way the shell is, it's layered. You can show those layers in a normal, be be the hot sauce. Anywho, enough about turtles. It's looking cool. I don't think I've ever had to. I don't think we've ever critiqued a turtle before. Oh man, the underside is dope. Yeah, there's some really nice details. This crease here feels a little feels strange to me that it's so continuous. Like it feels like it would dip here, but just my thoughts. Anyways, really nice. Sizen, is it you? Is this you? Oh, it is. Gallo, bro, your turtle has a six pack, bro. Dude, there's more. There's more than six there. Okay. Made changes to my small scene with crit or from crit. I was like, with crit, what do I? How do I get crit? I want crit. It's like the secret sauce. Still working on the background color, but if there is anything that stands out that could be added or made better, I still want to add some rocks and fish in the water yet. Oh man, this is super cool. Let me. This is so cool. And in that video, it is too small. Like you want to fit to frame something maybe like that. But yeah, dude, those seagulls, dude, the movement. Oh my god, take me there now. Let me be stranded. Hang on, I gotta see something here. I'm confused. Something. Oh, so you have the. So the seagulls are a particle. You can see them. They shrink eventually. Just give them a longer life. Just give them a longer life. Your video isn't too long. You can just go for it. You know what I mean? Yeah, framing wise, this is much better. I think if there's anything that you could do, it's add more shape to the leaves of the tree. Let's get this. Let's pop this open here. Oh my god, it's so high res. Oh my god, yes, yes, please. Right to my RAM. Right to the RAM. Oh wow. I think it just broke my browser. Oh no, there it is. Dude, this is super high res. Are you ready? Yeah, the seagulls do feel a bit small. Holy moly. When we look at the grass under, I would like the seagrass, if you want to call that. I would clump it a bit more. Maybe cluster it, you know? So if you look at it like this, if you have some areas where it's just kind of quite a bit greener, I think that would look more natural as like a pattern where you have gaps than what you have currently. So, especially if at the edge here it was just like uh, just grass against the edge, like nothing else. You have the sand here, and then you have your grass just kind of growing up, and then it just kind of like thins out. If you look at it from like, let's see if I can do this. If you look at it from like a top view, oh man, I'm doing this with a mouse. Are you ready? Wow, that's with a mouse. Are you? Oh man. And then you have your little island here. You could do you could do the grass like this, where all of this is grass around the edge here, and then you can clump it up where it's more dense around the edges, and then it just thins out to a few little ones. I think it'll give you a more natural like transition to the surface, and then you can also get rid of the grass before it gets to the foamy edge, and then you'll have that weird look. Um, I would take this edge and maybe bevel it a little bit more, just really like lean into the style that you're going for. And then when we were saying with the leaves here, can I do it? Will it let me do it? Let's see. Oh my god. Uh, I'm going for it, guys. Can he select it? Oh wait a minute, that's not part of the. Okay, we're going with that. Nope. Where's the Can't I move the center? There we go. Oh wow, I'm like hiding the center. So you have these smaller ones up above. Compositionally, I think you get a much better read with those ones up high. Wait, where's this one? Oh, okay. Yeah, you can see like overall the shape read is stronger. I also think that gaining a little bit of fuzz on this down here would go a whole lot of a ways. And pardon me with my mouse skills. It's a little rough right now. Cause see if you can get this and you just dupe us around. Where are we at here? I mean, I think you get the point, but I'm just trying to drive it home. Getting those types of details is gonna do a whole lot for like trying to rationalize the shapes that are under there. Where is it at there? Yes. See, now you get a whole lot more character. You can even like, oh, did I just combine it with something else? Hang on here. There it is. Whole lot of character, man. Will come through naturally because of that. Now it's anime hair. Get out of here. Overall, the rest of this is pretty cool. I think one of these bottles should probably have like a hmm. One of the bottles should have a cork with a note in it, like a little letter. You know, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, dude. Can you tell I've been concepting at work? Any crabs in the scene? That's a pretty good question. There's some coconuts. No crabs though. I don't see any crabs. There should be one at least. I mean, there's already so much going on in here. And if you add a crab, you're gonna have to animate it. I like this starfish. I think incorporating some out in the water could be nice. Dude, if you're doing these birds, you should have fish that just swim around the edge really fast. I think that would be a very cool addition. Did I just like? Oh, I did paint that on there. No, no. I think the background is fine with the gradients that you have because you have so much going on in here. Stop 3D modeling in Photoshop. Really, really nice piece. Really nice. We don't we don't have too much more to go, so I'm just gonna make sure. I'm super tired as well, so if we get to the end here, I may just like stop. We'll take some questions and then I'll just stop. What I want to do is make sure that you guys get community because you stick your necks out, you know what I mean? You stick your necks out just to get some feedback. Oh, you two look so happy. Oh, you're listening to some good music too. Let's see here. Okay, let's continue onward. Really nice piece, by the way. Super cool. I'm looking forward to when this is posted on ArtStation. Make sure it goes into finished work. I will find it and I will like it. I got communityed. Welcome to the community. Uh, is it T-Mech? T-Mech? It's you, Poodle, Poodlestein, Poodleek. Hello. Block out a scene. It's an album. There's more links. Oh boy. Imager albums scare me because you never know what they're gonna put on the side. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna zoom in like a lot, so you never know what's gonna be over here. Oh, the advertisement. It wants to load. So first impressions, pretty cool idea. Pretty cool idea. The darkening on the bottom edge here feels a little dark for the where the sand is. So you mainly want to improve your sculpting. T-Mix dropping a new album today. Get it while it's hot. Only on Empire Radio. Let's see here. Loosely inspired by this concept. The concept's pretty interesting. Hmm. Oh, it's supposed to be like paint smears and whatnot. I mean, that's fine. I think it just the contrast of it, like what's happening right now. Let me see if this image copy is okay. Nice. Very well, very well. Let's try it. Is this yeah, cool. Um this backdrop's the real deal. Let's just do this. Okay. So one thing you're noticing in the concept is the areas that are in shadow uh aren't aren't as dark as yours, right? So if we go in and let's just like I don't know if we can we just select the darkest areas? We'll go contiguous. There we go. We'll turn this up to like, I don't know, 30. Nice. Just Control C, Control V. All right. So if these are lightened, this is not the way to do this. You can see how much more information pops and how much color you're getting, like bounce lighting. It's in there. It just needs to be pulled out. I haven't touched the lighting yet and just make it more reddish. So you can see the difference. Like this one's almost like it's on a moon, and then this one looks like it's being ambiently lit from the environment around it. Homemade rendering in Photoshop now. We're doing bounce lighting real time in Photoshop as I just um but yeah, you can see there's a huge difference. It's gonna be making full games in it soon. I mean, it's definitely just about like turning up your ambient scene. I actually, while we're on that topic, I'll load this up while we're talking about this. But you can see how much more information comes through, and how it actually makes, strangely enough, it makes these areas not feel so dark. You notice that? Because now the information here is similar to here. So it kind of evens it out. It balances it. You're going to want to make sure that the sand around the edges really has the curve and weight that you would expect from sand. So for example, even if you need to make it with mesh, just making sure that this curves up like this and just builds up on the inside there. You want to make sure that this happens so that the sand really feels like it's kind of building up in the crevices and holding its own. And this shape of this structure is just kind of being covered in the sand. Maybe a brighter albedo texture. I think you're right overall. Yeah, I think so. Let's grab this one. We just paste this on top with all the painting we've already done. If you go into your levels and you just turn this up, you can see it's because you're not using the full range right now. And now that you are, you can see it's actually quite a bit closer. Yeah, don't hesitate to, I don't know if you're doing this on Unreal, but I don't hesitate to use mesh for those kind of those shapes. Let me recent projects, browse, Empire 2. Yeah, UE5, nice. Nice. Yeah, you could even do like a project of the terrain material onto those sand dune shapes, and that'll do a lot for kind of pushing that stuff. What I wanted to show you was the skylight. Some people have asked like, hey, how do you like why is areas in shadow, why are they like so dark? Or I always tell you, like, hey, make the area that's, yeah, if you use RVT blending, that's gonna be nice. But like when you have an area that's in shadow or it's not being hit by direct light, the skylight is how you can affect that. And you can just go to the light color here, and you can actually bring color in, introduce color, and that would be your ambient color. So nothing direct light, ambient color. You're basically like, I've got a HDR or like a cube map in here, so it's an empty warehouse. You can switch to this one. This one's quite a bit darker, but we'll go back to the empty warehouse, and then this light color is actually being applied on top of that. And then if you lower the value, you're just lowering the overall value of the scene. But yeah, just so that you guys know that that's how you can kind of change the colors of your shadows, because nothing is more like meh than like a color shadow that's gray. Gray or black shadows are boring. But let me close this. It's looking cool though, man. It's looking really cool. There's a lot of like interesting details in there and whatnot. I would really try and make this look more intentional. Like where it meets the ground, I don't think it would be there. But if it's like painted on by people, if it's like, I don't know, carvings or writings with like a dye or blood or whatever that's being like put on there, that it would happen mainly around here, depending on the scale of the structure, like how big people are. And being further down is going to be a little weird. But overall, super solid. Rock solid, if you will. Yeah, cool. Don't send me to jail for that one. Okay. This is interesting. You want to add some more writing? Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Intriguing. Yeah, you want that cultist vibe. Pun count +1. There are no puns here. I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, that's mine. Looks pretty cool. Looks interesting. I think when it comes to like how many we doing here? We got oh yeah, we're going deep. We're going deeper. Do you have that model? Can you message me that model? I don't know if it's too big for you. Like maybe the Z tool of it would work, not the project. I can load it in ZBrush and show you how I would approach some of these details, these areas. 2 million polys, that's fine. Yeah, see if you can import on the Z tool. I have no idea if it'll fit. You can drop it in. Try dropping it in a DM to me. It's done on Blender. What? You sculpted this in Blender? Yeah, you could give me the OBJ. Dude, that's crazy. That's in Blender. Well, the things I'm going to highlight for you, I think supersede sculpting packages. It should be stuff that you should be able to do. Better send blend, it will open faster. I'm still going to open it in ZBrush just because I'll be faster at like highlighting the things for you. But yeah, send it to me in a DM. I'll skip yours. We'll go to we'll go to this one, and then we'll come back. That way, maybe we can get the model for you. So this is looking pretty interesting. There's some nice blending going on here too. Some fancy blending. Realistic Roblox terrain I made a couple months ago. This is in Roblox. That's interesting. I mean, it's very angular. That's crazy though. So watch out for these kind of jaggedy shapes, and try and get some height variety in the grass. Man, I don't even know what it's like to author content in there, so I have no idea what your limitations are. But you really want to try and push like the organicness of the grass. Grass close to the edge of things, like against a rock, is going to be protected in that sense. And when it's protected, it tends to grow longer, or be healthier, or just not get eaten by creatures or get chopped down. I can't change the height in the grass with Roblox. Can you introduce a different type of grass? Because you could just have grass 1 being at like this height and grass 2 being at this height. And then you can paint this higher one at the rock edge and this one when you want the grass to be lower. Does that work? Either way, trying to get variety in there and matching the albedo to the ground itself. You can see that in shadow the grass is darker than the ground grass, but in light the grass is lighter than the ground grass. So there's some adjustments that need to happen in order for that to work. The other thing I would say is the trees feel very similar. They're probably the same tree, right? Well, if Roblox isn't nice to you, maybe you can switch to another thing. Oh, you I figured it would be too big. Fun fact: too big means water in Tagalog, which is one of the main languages in the Philippines. Okay, let's We're on fun facts now. That's again a sign of tiredness. Let's see if I can bring this forward. Okay, that's not. Oh, look at that. Nice. Give me a second here. It's 9:19. We're doing pretty good on time. And we've got a decent amount of work so we can like go through it but not we're not rushing. Customize. Holy, that's bright. I'm just going to switch monitor. There we go. Cool. Cool. You guys doing pretty good in chat so far? Putting this glove thingy on here. Okay. Man, I take it this is all one piece. Oh my god, yeah, it is. Let me see here. Let me see if this it's getting real. He has the glove on. Dude, don't make me get that Nintendo glove out. I'll get the power glove out. No, I don't have it. I wish. I wish, man. Oh man. I put all my hotkeys on that thing. Can we split? Group split? No. Split to split to parts? Is there parts? Oh, there is. This is glorious. Okay. So I would think about what this horn is like, how this horn is made, right? So you can see I smoothed it out, and I'm sure you have something similar to like the damn standard brush. Let's lower the intensity of it. But like find the inspiration for the horn that you're building to, or that you're imitating. And a lot of the times when I'm looking at horns for sculpts and stuff like this, I use the damn standard to just pull these creases up, and then in the inner area I push them down. So you can see we've got some crease action going on now. So this is working out, I think. So we've got those creases. You can do these ones as well if you want to like get kind of crazy with the curves. All right, so you can see we get some layering in there. Yeah, the crease brush and blender is similar to damn standard. That's good. So I'm gonna switch to this one. And what I want to show you is like not only the crease information here, but you can see how like fat the kind of skin around the horn is right now. You probably want to push that in a little bit. Let me try pushing it in and seeing if we go too far. We'll push it in, and then we'll build it back up. Let's see here. Because it's really important that you figure out like the volume that things require in order to sell the shape language. So we'll go with this for now. Maybe I'll push this down a little bit further here. But you can do like so again, you can do the damn standard to try and like add those creases where you want the kind of folds to happen. And then you use an inflate to kind of push those shapes further again. Like see, figuring out where this crease happens here, and then bringing this around. There's going to be a natural flow of like, okay, this is going here. This is kind of pinching down. Smooth this out a little bit. But then there's inflating, which I'm sure Blender has as well. So you want to be looking for where you can do like a BI, where is it? Inflate. So you can inflate these spots that are that you need to be puffier, kind of like what you were doing, but you localize the inflation to the areas that are matching the creases that you've been building. And then don't hesitate to like move things in and like lining up the creases to kind of align with the way that the horn is. And you can see now that we've got these lines in, we can also then use the dam standard inverted and quite large, and you can push this into the skin. Now this will fake that look of it's going into the flesh. So you can start to feel the depth inside of it. I'm an OP NPC? What did I do? But you can see like the details that you end up getting from it. I smoothed as well. It kind of like we lost these creases. Yeah, I think this gets the point across. You can get real micro with it as well. You just want to be really careful that you kind of figure out the macro shapes first before you get into these like smaller like crevice areas where like it starts to like crow's feet out, right? And like this, it's just looking where like the skin naturally ends up flowing and knowing where like this looks like it could be pretty sinewy, like tendony looking. Oh, whoops, hang on here. So this could all be for nothing. Hang on here. See, it's really, again, it's really important. Like you see the back of people's necks sometime where it inflates here. That's right. I look at the back of people's necks sometimes and I'm like, yo, bro, you got inflation happening on the back of your neck. You better be getting a raise for that. Let's see here. So you're just trying to solve this flow, like where things are happening and why they're happening, where they're happening. I keep feeling like this needs to dip down. I don't know, that whole area is kind of feeling a little funny, but I think you get the idea. Oh yeah, Oliver's start sculpting on real people with the glove. That's some creeper level status. Either way, I really like the design and idea of this entire piece. I think it's really intriguing. And it's just really kind of defining those details. Like if you want to be going for like a wood type of material look, don't hesitate to kind of like really kind of push those details. Remember that wood can crack, and then it can like it can create those. You can get those wood grain swirls to really kind of push the feel without it going stylized right away. It's possible, and you can start to feel like, oh yeah, this is a wood material. Next critique when Den sends sculpt. I'm gonna whip out a block of clay and just switch to the second camera. Really cool stuff though. I like the idea. Yeah, really intriguing. Really intriguing. And then we don't save it. Okay, where are we at now? We're getting there. We're getting there. RDD, you are long overdue for your community role. Long overdue. All I see you do is work in the voice chat. It's so, man, it's cool. It's cool. I just go down there and like I don't want to join the call because I'm just gonna disturb whatever flow is going on. But I always mouse over and just see like what's on people's screens that they're sharing. So let's take a look at this. This thing was super detailed. Super detailed. I'm happy that there's nice people that are here. I'm glad that we were able to and have been able to continue to build a community that you can feel happy to be at. We're talking about memes and voice chat. That's great. That's great. Did someone say memes? Um, there was a long time ago when there wasn't memes allowed in the Discord. I've softened up since then, and actually meme myself. So this looks really cool, and right now it's very detailed. There's a lot of stuff going on. What is this rendered in? Because it looks a little washed. Yeah, you come in voice chat. There, it's super friendly. 3ds Max viewport. All right, all right. So what this is suffering from is 3ds Max viewport. It sounds like I'm joking, but I'm totally serious. Uh, oh man, there's betting going on in chat now. Oh god. So bounce lighting is poop. Sorry. I mean, I bet you could probably get this into Unreal now, and it'll just accept the mesh. Just bring in the glass aspects after. So I'm not able to get very close. Is there other images in here that I have not clicked on? It's great, but the problem is everything I'm looking at. I mean, it looks really cool. It feels so the surfaces feel a bit washed out, and there's a whole lot of detail going on. Like this render is a little better, but like it's like you need to overemphasize the ambient occlusion to kind of push down the detail, if you know what I mean. Like this whole inner area is really detailed. Um, let me see if that's not what I sound like, is it, Oliver? Oh man. Because if I go, yeah. See, that's the range, man. It's all in that range. There's so much cool stuff going on in here. Can I improve the shape language? So, so the reality is I think the shape language is suffering from high levels of detail. You've probably been hearing that quite a bit. Uh, let's see, let's see what we can do here. Because there's a lot of like information just kind of happening. I'm just gonna like average out a bunch of information just to kind of illustrate a point here. Because I think there's a lot of details you're adding that I don't think you necessarily need in order to illustrate the piece. I think you get the point though. Yeah, I these details here feel very simple. I'm just gonna keep kind of going here. I sense primitive. I sense primitive. So this like finer wire mesh detail I think is all right. Um, you have a lot of information that's just kind of like flooding the scene. You need a lot more areas of rest. I would say so. This type of information here, this is all high frequency, right? This is super high frequency. You want to have areas of rest like back here, like this whole. Let's see how we map this out. So this whole piece here. So if we look at that on its own, so this is like 70% area of rest. There's not a lot of information, and then you've got high frequency elsewhere. Let's see if we can. So let's put green, and then we put blue for the rest here. So you can see the ratio is. I would say it's even like. I would say it's probably about right for frequency of detail. If we grab this, let's just like turn this off. We'll do that, and then we'll select this layer. So I'm just gonna point out like high frequency detail. And this is just from this zoom level, right? That one's okay. And then like, yeah, see, this is still getting this balanced out is going to be really important because right now it becomes very difficult to see what you want to look at because of the balance of this. So just to illustrate the complexity difference, you want to reduce the detail amount, and I think what you want to do, I mean, I think it would be a lot of work at this point, but finding like these large areas and just cutting the detail down would go a long way. Where like this is just a flat face, no text, nothing. Like these, removing those. Like, do you need those four uh, input points there? Do these all have to be the grate pattern? Maybe that grading is happening over here. So simplifying these details is going to help a ton. I sense primitive clipped. um, you could still have this grading. Like maybe you have it like if we look at the ratio here, instead of it all being green, maybe what is it here? Yeah, so the high frequency is green, right? So maybe you can put the high frequency on the sides here, maybe about that big, and then in the inner area is not that pattern. So you still get the grading, but you really tone down like how much of it is present. I think that would help a lot. Yeah, I think that would help a ton actually. Because see, then you still get the patterns, but it just tones it down. Should make the surface quite flat. Yeah, and I mean, flat isn't a bad thing either. The getting the surfaces to flatten out like that. It can be designed, right? Like see, even from this distance, now it's got a lot more design to it. Um, in functionality, like you can see through it, and oh, like that's interesting. But it's not. You're not losing areas for your eyes to just chill. And you could, I mean, you can continue that pattern throughout, maybe. Like if you took this, right? Maybe this whole side piece is quite thick. And it takes on a whole different kind of feeling once you do that stuff, as well as like toning down the intensity of all of the detail. That all being said, this is really freaking cool. Your ability to create these shapes, like this is super intriguing. I would say like if you were to go in and let's do this really fast. I'm just gonna so high frequency green, blue for low frequency. I think the ratio would be something like this. Um, wait, what? We're gonna do this. Sorry. Take all this low frequency, right? Put this all low frequency. Can I share a link? Yeah, go for it, man. And you want, I guess you would want high frequency in here on these bits. There's this dish thing here. And maybe these, let's see, and this. That's probably where you'd want all of that information. I know that there's this one too, and that's cool. But I think that's it. I think the rest should really like allow your eyes to rest. And it doesn't even have to be the geometry. It can literally be the difference between how often you're changing from a light value to a dark value. It's trying to like tone that stuff. Oh yeah, that's a good link. That's a really good link. But balancing that out is gonna be key. But yeah, cool. Cool. I think we can jump to the next one. Really cool design as well. Yeah, the when you go black and white, you definitely you see the contrast as well, right? We go in and oh, what am I doing here? There we go. If you do this and this, you can see how much like areas competing for visual attention. It's very noisy here. So that's another thing you can do is kind of push those colors, the values closer together. That'll cut down on the noise as well. But really cool, really cool. Just needs that balance. This needs that balance. Okay, where are we at here? This is my keyframe concept art inspired by Battlefield 2042 for my portfolio. I tried to make a keyframe for a new map in Thailand where a hurricane was hitting in the middle of the battlefield. What? Let's see this. Oh, dude, this is cool. So you're concepting. I mean, this looks great, and you're like capturing the water flooding in. Man, can you imagine a hey RDD? No problem. Nice work. Keep it up. This is really cool. That's interesting as well. So it feels like one frame that's showing me where things are heading, but it's not happened yet. This flare here, this color flare that you've got, where's that at? This one, that's very Battlefield, very Battlefield. I'd almost make it warmer, like almost red. If you guys have those links as well, I'm gonna just give me a second here. When you guys have links like that, don't forget that you can add those to the Empire. Let me show you. Sorry, Blaze. We'll get back to your review here in a second. So we have this thing called the Empire Command, right? And it's got tutorials as well as techniques, resources, and workflows. Man, there's so much stuff in here. Like when you go to Unreal, for example, we've got it categorized. All this stuff is organized. If it's free, tutorials, breakdowns. If it's a talk, We've now got an Unreal 5 section that needs more. And this button here, add to the Empire command. If you go here and you have like a URL, you can paste it here. You're like, what's the title? We'll just put we'll put test, creator's name, and then like what's the URL? There we go. Nice. Is it paid? Let's say it's paid. It's a tutorial. It's for Unreal 5. It's intermediate in skill. And then you click this and you hit submit. And then it actually shows up in here, and you'll see it here. And moderators and myself will go through and approve them, get them into the system, and then they just show up in the right category automatically. Like Blender has a huge section as well. So just so you know, and if you're in Discord, it's !TEC. If it's in chat, it's !TEC. Check it out. It's super useful. It's got a ton of stuff in here. It's not called the Empire for nothing. But back to this. So I think the only thing we're missing out on, I mean, for this frame, it feels Battlefield to me. I don't know, Alex. You should check it out. If you go to that link, you'll see there's a ZBrush section. Yeah, this looks like Battlefield to me. I guess when it comes to like Into the Fire, I think having some type of explosion in the back that's really like heating up the background to this similar effect could really help, because then you could highlight like the warmth on the tree. The other thing is, because it's the recent Battlefield, it's Battlefield 2042. I guess you would expect like a larger scale. Like I want to see more of like a big shot, like a big angle, wide angle shot. I think that's where you're gonna see those details. But this is pretty good. This is solid, man. And you can feel the rush of the water into the space, which is really nice. Yes, yes. Fire, fire. All right. Axle Explosion. Compositionally, this is really good as well. Just FYI. Early work in progress for a scene I'm doing for a school project. This is kind of scary. Interesting. Is this person being abducted? What's happening here? Is this a street light? Is that a spotlight? It's a street light. I give you a bunch of options and you said, yeah. I'm sorry. The delay got us. It's a street light. Okay. So when it's a street light, remember the cone shape? It's Thick Man, Slender Man's older brother. So remember the shape that a spotlight is going to give you? And usually it would be good to have it either in frame or like make it wide angle enough to be in frame. Really like the trees and the layout of the setting. Compositionally, showing the street light, it could probably be better if it's on this side of the street. You want to know that it's a street light. A car door being open would be good, yeah. The lights on the inside of the car. I'm assuming this person's from this car. And then this character being really close to the edge is just a little unsettling, to say the least. It's just a little unsettling. I think compositionally, as long as you have the room for it, I would go more towards that. Nice. Get a little bit of blue in there, you know what I'm saying? I think blue really makes the composition just sing. We're just going to stretch that out there. But yeah, I think doing something like this, knowing is this like the is this the edge of the road here? Yeah, trees look pretty interesting already. You probably don't want it to look like there's something over here. We'll just frame this off like this, and then we'll make sure Mr. Mr. Heavy Guy is not occluded too much. Because yeah, I think you need this spotlight to really like. It needs to be more overhead, and it needs to be explained as well. Because it feels like, oh, this must be a helicopter. Dark person is making light person do something, and we're waiting for it to happen. Dang, dude, that's heavy. Yeah, it's quite high. It's quite high up. The other thing too is that the car facing that way, the door that you would expect to be opens this door, and if that's the case, there's someone in the car. Maybe it's one of those maybe it's one of those moments where like both car doors are open. They're pulled up here. It's in the middle of nowhere. This person's like, "Man, we've been driving for hours," and this one, he's just taking a pee. That's the scene. That's it. Like we've been driving for hours. Do you know where we're going? That sounds great. It's really interesting though. I like the framing of this. I think maybe if the car was more here. I'm sorry, man. I just ruined the entire image. Like if the car was more like here framing wise, it might feel a little bit more natural. Yeah, I can't. You guys can't take me anywhere, man. Hmm. And I also feel like everything is just really close together. Like this guy needs to be moved too. He should be somewhere around here. I think, anyways. No, let me eye drop. It's all about like waiting and figuring out the framing of it all. But yeah, cool. I really like the idea, definitely, and the image, the like the layout of it, really intriguing. You see like the little bus stop light and like the bus number and stuff. The trash, super cool. Uh oh. Oh, I was like, uh oh, I got tagged. What's happening? You got any of them portfolios, mate? Dude, look at this. You see that already? Someone at Cloud Imperium's asking for that portfolio. Uh, yes. Let's burn steak, dude. You just joined recently. How you doing? This is more Roblox terrain with more factors involved. That's pretty impressive. The grass though, man. Like I think you need two different types of grass. That way you can get the height variety you're looking for. Cuz the grass is really rough. Because you have like this one consistent height. It just doesn't feel natural. Yeah, you got invited yesterday. Oh, you're a baby. Roblox grass, man. Feels bad, man. So compositionally, So you got the tree that's tipped over here, this giant rock, which I don't know how it got there. Like, did it like a mountain explode in the distance and then just like landed here? That's the thing, is like when you place a rock, it has to really feel integrated into the scene. And right now, this rock feels like it's placed versus like um, the terrain and the the dirt and all that stuff is just kind of built up around it. It usually would be like an exposed cliffside. Like you would perfect. Nailed it. You would have like you'd have the grass up the side of it. You know what I mean? Oh man. Let's Where are we at here? I'm just gonna do this. So you'd have the grass up the side of it, right? And then this would be like an exposed cliffside. Should have done that on another layer. That way you can. I'm still learning the ropes of concepting. So you get that little highlight there. That ends up becoming the focal point for the scene. This log here meeting up with the tree feels really strange. Like if you can break that to something like, I don't know, something like that. Let me see here. Oh, lock this and just do that. You start to understand like, oh, okay, that's a log that's broken and whatnot. Um, let's just blend this in here. We'll just get the grass kind of going up the thing. But compositionally, you don't know where to look until you have like a focal point. And I like this is a to me this is the focal point. I just don't know why. You know what I mean? Like you have to move log 3 inches to the left, basically. It's like you just yeah, like that thing there. That's like one of those visual tangents. 3 inches is a lot. That's more like the movement I just did there. I feel like is at least a meter, at least. Uh, and yeah, I where the trees are at. I feel like this tree in the front here. If you can get away from like having a tree like right up front and center, you'll have a easier time explaining what you're. I can't right now. I can't paint right now. Um, this tree though is just feeling like it's not supposed to be there. You know what I mean? Like you want to be looking down that way. You want to be heading somewhere. Hey, thank you for the sub. 2 months. Super appreciated. But yeah, think about your composition. Think about what the focal point is, where it's positioned in the shot, and what is your entire scene. What's it pointing at? Like you've got logs that are. Let's see here. This is going this way. This is going this way. You got these, right? And then this rock's going that way. So there's not really a sense of like knowing which way to go. The other thing is this framing here. Getting stuff on these like objects of interest on these lines somewhere is always beneficial. Like if I screen grab this, I'm literally about to lose my mind. There we go. So screen grabbing this, if you can get a prop here, like this rock, if it was taking up this space or this space, like the trees, thinking about where the trees are at, and like imagining this grid is in every single one of these, you can do like micro thirds. So we call this thirds, right? So 1, 2, 3. Focus targets here, or here, or here, or here. And then if you have something that's up close, like let's say this rock is in this frame here, and it's a really close rock, you want to make sure that you're also thinking about this space in thirds, right? So if we do this really quick, this rock here, you want to probably put it taking up a corner of the thirds layout. All that stuff is going to help a whole lot when it comes to the composition of stuff. The composition of the scenes. Total, look at those guns. All right. View model rig that I'm working on. The fingers feel a little weird. I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm not a character person, but the fingers feel like they're from a different hand. If you're saying this is rigged, I'd be curious to see like how it moves. Yeah, the finger, I don't know, man. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. How complex is the rig as well? So you're saying a view model rig that you're working on. I'm not seeing did you want any feedback on it total specifically? I wonder if it's for first person. Because that can sometimes explain weird lengths and fingers and stuff like that as well. Seems for FPS, yeah. Yeah, I think the terminology with view model. I think if that's the case, I would love to see the hands in the first person view and seeing like where they're at. But it's pretty cool. What's going on here? Oh God. Oh God. Why? It is for first person. Oh, okay, cool. Are you planning to animate it? Because I think it would be really cool to see some animations of like the hand like cracking the knuckles and moving the fingers around. Little gun fingers. Bow 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 bow. Fix the thumb for healing. Wait, is something wrong with the Yeah, it does feel there's some proportion stuff going on there. Far Cry meme. Oh no. Oh, you're right. Oh my God, Oliver. I forgot. Well, I mean, it looks like we're done. Oh, and it's 10. This is that timed out very well. I think going through the Discord with you guys like this instead of pulling them over sped things up a little bit. No? I think we might be able to do more feedbacks. I like that we could do a little bit more of a intimate, like, let's get into ZBrush and look at that stuff and figure out how everything looks. That was pretty good. But yes, it's time to get out of here. I don't know if you can hear that music, but it's coming. It was very intimate. Thanks. Thanks, man. It's 10 o'clock. I'm going to finish this energy drink. No, I really appreciate you guys posting your stuff. Anyone who's new, you can join us on the Discord here. You can hang out with us. If you need feedback, every third Thursday we do Discord critiques. Stop laughing at me. It's rude. I'm glad you like the stream, man. And don't forget the Empire Command is at your service if you need any feedback or critiques or anything like that. The Discord is at your will, as well as looking for you to help. But all right, cool. You guys have a good evening. I'll see you in the Discord. And Oliver, I'm glad you enjoyed your stay. Give free map. All right. See you guys. Ben, yo, thanks for hanging out, man. All right. Goodbye.